Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Muriel Bowser. I'm the mayor of Washington, D.C. I'm pleased to be here to provide a briefing on this Saturday's historic March for Our Lives rally that will be this Saturday, March the 24th in Washington, D.C. between noon and 3 p.m. As the young men and women from Parkland, Florida have been preparing for Saturday's event, the district has been preparing to keep them safe here in Washington to make sure they have a positive and motivational experience. We know that they have invited their friends, their fellow Americans from around the nation to join them. And we are very much looking forward to supporting this rally. Let me first begin by recognizing the men and women behind me who have been working tirelessly to prepare for the March for Our Lives, as we do for every First Amendment activity in the District of Columbia. Let me recognize Kevin Donahue, who is the Deputy Mayor for Public Safety, Peter Newsham, the Chief of Police for the Metropolitan Police Department, Christopher Rodriguez, who is the Director of the District's Department of Homeland Security, Jeff Marudian, who is the Director of the District's Department of Transportation, Chris Shorter, who is the Director of the District's Department of Public Works, Laura Zeilinger, the Director of Human Services, Dr. LaQuandra Nesbitt, the Director of the D.C. Department of Health, and also representatives from the D.C. National Guard, the United States Park Police, the United States Capitol Police, and Paul Wiedefeld, who is the General Manager for Metro, the district subway system. I also want to recognize Dina Katz, who is the President for March for Our Lives, who we will hear from shortly. I want to ask all members of the media to help us inform all D.C. residents who will be participating in this march, as well as everyone who will be coming to Washington, D.C. to make their voices heard. We're asking for everybody to plan ahead and to know and prepare as much in advance for your arrival and your time in the district. The March for Lives has an official website, and that is marchforourlives.dc.gov. Let me say that's our official website for the district that will have transportation information and ways for you to plan your trip and your support of the rally. Again, the DC website is marchforourlives.dc.gov. The second thing I want to alert you to is our text messaging alert system. Attendees and interested DC residents can get informational updates on public safety, weather, traffic, transit to go directly to their phones. And to sign up for these free alerts, people simply need to text March 24 to 888-777. Both our website and alerting system are already up and running and will continue to be updated between now and Saturday. So we have created a comprehensive public safety response, a comprehensive reunification plan to assure that anyone who gets separated from their party can be reunited, and a coordinated district response to ensure residents continue to receive services while we respond to this activity. Of course, First Amendment protected events are not new to Washington, D.C. Just a little over a year ago, we had 1 million women come to the District of Columbia. And we are looking forward to these teenagers and everybody who believes that we must do more to have sensible gun regulation in our nation and to keep children safe in their schools, in their neighborhoods, and in cities across America. We look forward to seeing you at the March for Our Lives. I'm going to ask Chief Newsham to address MPD's preparations, followed by Director Rodriguez, who will talk about our HSEMA response. And finally, we will hear from one of the march organizers, Dina Katz.
Okay, good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor Bowser, and good afternoon. It is the Metropolitan Police Department's privilege to host and help facilitate this Saturday's March for Our Lives rally. Like any other First Amendment assembly, the Metropolitan Police Department, along with our partner agencies, have carefully planned for the rally to ensure that we have the appropriate resources. MPD will be fully staffed on Saturday. Residents should continue to expect the same level of service and policing as we have done across the city during previous events in our city. We will ensure that we have plenty of officers on hand to facilitate a peaceful and safe day for the rally, while also ensuring that we have sufficient staffing to provide quality police services in our neighborhoods across the district. We do anticipate a large crowd for the event, and we also anticipate an increased presence in our city for other events, including the annual arrival of the cherry blossoms. We're therefore asking the public to plan ahead and be patient, and I'm going to say that again, to plan ahead and be patient, be prepared for road closures, increased traffic and parking restrictions. It's safe to say that generally getting around our city starting in the early morning hours of Saturday, March 24th, will likely be more challenging than most other Saturdays here in the district. Last week, we released the road closures that will be in effect for the event. So if you've not had an opportunity to review these, please visit, as the mayor has said, our website at marchforourlives.dc.gov for the full list. We have a map up in front of me here, and just very generally, the area that's going to be closed for this event will be 1st Street on the east side to 14th Street on the west side, from E Street to the north to Independence Avenue to the south. Inside of that area, only vehicles that have business will be allowed into that area. The shaded area of the map up here reflects the street closures and no parking areas, which will be in effect, and they will be in effect from 3 a.m. on Saturday morning until 6 p.m. on Saturday evening. Again, we are asking folks to plan ahead and be patient. We encourage visitors and participants to utilize one of the many public transportation options available, but also plan for extended travel times due to the crowd sizes and the street closures. And as always, we will encourage the public to report any suspicious activity that they may see. You can do that by notifying one of the officers on the detail or by calling 911. If you see something, please say something to a police official or officer. And lastly, other than the slight inconvenience that some may experience, we anticipate this will be a very successful event. I'm now going to turn it over to Chris Rodriguez, the Director of our Homeland Security and Emergency Management Agency, for a few additional details.
Thanks, Chief. As the Mayor and the Chief mentioned, to ensure that we are prepared for residents and visitors for this rally, the District's Emergency Operations Center, including the District's Joint Information Center, will be activated from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. this Saturday, the 24th. The Emergency Operations Center will be fully staffed with representatives from district response agencies, our federal partners, and representatives from other organizations such as the Red Cross, DC Water, PEPCO, and the Washington Metropolitan Area Transit Authority, WMATA. As Mayor Bowser said previously, we have created two important resources for district residents and those visiting for the rally. First, I would urge everyone to visit marchforourlives.dc.gov, which will include the detailed explanations of the road closures that Chief Newsham just discussed, along with important planning and transportation information. Second, all attendees should sign up for the text alert service that we have called Nixle. Simply text March 24 to 888-777 to get the important updates that the Mayor had talked about previously. Also, as the Chief and the Mayor said, the crowds for this event will be large, and attendees should make a plan with their family and friends if they are separated. Reunification services will be available throughout the day of the event at RFK Stadium and at Eastern Senior High School, located at 1700 East Capitol Street Northeast. If you are separated from your group during the rally, visit the nearest medical aid stations and staff will assist you. You can also call 311 for additional assistance with reunification. Because of the expected large crowds and closures of our roads, we encourage everyone attending the rally to use public transportation. The district's Department of Transportation will be offering shuttle bus services from RFK Stadium to the rally site. Metro will also run rush hour service levels throughout the day to accommodate the expected crowds. The rail system will open at 7 a.m., and trains will depart end-of-line stations every 8 minutes, and additional Red Line trains will run between Grosvenor and Silver Spring. In downtown D.C., where the event will happen, the trains will arrive every 2 to 4 minutes. We look forward to a safe event on Saturday, and once again, we urge all attendees to plan ahead and visit marchforourlives.dc.gov. I'll now turn it over to Deanna Katz from the rally.
Hi, I'm Deanna Katz. I'm producing the March for Our Lives event here in Washington, D.C. I'm shorter than you. I wanted to thank the mayor and the city and the supporting partners for all your help and guidance. My voice is just the voice of these students that have started this movement. And I'm here to facilitate, as we've said, they 16 and 17 years old, they can't even get a hotel room, so they needed an adult to be here to facilitate. The stage is going to be an amazing day, amazing event. We're not having anyone over the age of 19 speak. We're having local kids here from D.C., the kids from Parkland, and kids that have been affected around the country by gun violence. We are having some amazing performers, some that we've already announced: Ariana Grande, Jennifer Hudson, Andra Day, Demi Lovato, Common, Vic Mensa. We'll be announcing another one this afternoon and then 2 more in the next 2 days. It's going to be a great day. I do please ask everyone to come early. We're expecting very large crowds. We want to make sure everybody is there in time for the rally that starts at noon. And thank you.
So we're happy to take a few on-topic questions. Yes, ma'am.
This question is actually from the chief. There was a shooting in Maryland.
On topic.
It is a shooting in Maryland today. I spoke with a student from Parkland who's going to be traveling to D.C. for the rally, and she's concerned about safety. What do you have to say to the students who will be coming here on Saturday?
You know, we have large events like this here in Washington, D.C., and we have First Amendment assemblies on a daily basis. And our number one goal is to make sure folks can get in here, have a safe time, exercise their First Amendment rights, and leave. So I would urge young people who are interested in coming. They're coming to one of the safest cities in the country, and we're going to do everything we can to make sure that we have a successful event.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, this is for Deanna Katz. Can you talk a little bit more about the actual structure? Are students going to actually march? I know there's going to be performance, but a little bit like the logistics of the structure.
We had talked about a march, but because of the amount of people that we're expecting, we are closing down all of Pennsylvania Avenue from 12th down to 3rd, and we feel like it's the movement of everybody getting here, and that will culminate at the stage at 3rd and Pennsylvania. We will have we will have audio and video all the way down Pennsylvania Avenue, expecting this large crowd so people can see within 10 blocks. So the idea is the movement of everybody getting there and culminating with this rally that's on the stage from 12 till 3.
Hi. How are the students of D.C. going to represent this event, Mayor Bowles?
Absolutely. So thank you for that question. You heard the organizers say that we expect some local students to be involved on the stage, in addition to local performers that will be supporting some of the performers that you heard. We will also, with Councilmember Allen and Chairman Mendelson and other members of the council, are having a pre-event rally beginning at 9 a.m. The park name again? Folger Park on Capitol Hill near Brent Elementary School, correct? And we are going to meet there at 9 a.m. There will be a short program at 9 a.m. at Folger Park on Capitol Hill, and we will leave Folger Park at 10 a.m. to arrive at the event site.
Yeah. And I'm just wondering, how
I know I have a tough job.
how do you personally decide which events to throw your own support behind? Like, why this and not, pro-life marches or something like that?
We have been really focused on common sense gun control in our city for a long time. I have, since the moment I was mayor, and even before that, when I was a member of the council, sought to make sure that we locally decide our laws regarding guns for ourselves, the duly elected mayor and the duly elected council. And it is not lost on us that the senator from Florida, Marco Rubio, has a different standard for the District of Columbia than he does for his own state. And so that I am very focused on making sure that we have sensible gun laws. We are talking about, the Parkland students certainly are talking about the impact of guns and active shooters in schools, but we deal with the impact of guns every day in cities, and we deal with the impact of guns in our city every day. And so I feel very strongly that this nation, we can come up with our own laws in D.C., but if our neighbors don't have strict gun laws, it affects us too. So the time is now. I believe very strongly that on a federal level, Congress has to act. I couldn't agree more with these students. Yes.
Can you put a number on how many people you're expecting to come to this?
A lot.
Could you put a number on that?
You know, that's impossible to estimate. Well, you know, our team at HCMA and MPD are preparing for hundreds of thousands of people, and we are going to be ready for everybody who comes. We will have the assistance of the National Guard if needed to help with directions and traffic control and the like. I'm grateful to Metro for adding the additional rush hour service throughout the day to help with crowds as well.
So can I ask, you mentioned the last large march, which was the Women's March, that by all accounts grew much larger than anybody had anticipated or planned for, and spilled over onto streets that you guys weren't prepared for, and it caused a lot of traffic jams. And are you guys preparing for that, to keep that from happening, or preparing for that inevitability that it may expand far beyond the designated areas?
I'm going to turn to the chief to talk about how we deal with issues when they grow. But I think that you are right that the expectations for the Women's March, probably starting that was a Saturday, beginning about Wednesday, we knew we were going to have a much larger event than was planned or requested. This is a little bit different. We already know that we're dealing with large crowds and are prepared in that way.
So one of the things that we're fortunate here in Washington, D.C. is we have had these large events in the past. If you remember President Obama's first inauguration, President Obama's second inauguration, and the most recent Women's March here in the district. And so one of the things that we have learned is we can get somewhat of a sense, and the mayor alluded to this, as to how many people are coming by looking at the number of buses that are coming to our city, or looking at the number of folks that have gotten hotels in the city. But really, one of the things that we learned is the potential for huge crowds to accumulate in the city by way of Metro and by other forms of shared transportation really makes us unpredictable to get an exact number. But I think part of your question was whether or not we're going to be able to prevent some of the things that we saw during the Women's March in the event that the crowd gets that big. Some of those things is one of the reasons that we're here today, is to let folks know, like I said earlier, take a look at the road closures. We have these maps. We have a website. And we're up here trying to publicly let folks know that there's a large chance that we're going to have a significant group of people coming into the city, which could affect folks' ability to travel throughout the city. Other than that inconvenience, we anticipate this is going to be a very safe event. You have a bunch of groups that are standing behind me and off to the side, law enforcement agencies that are well able to handle these types of events. I would say that this city is probably in better shape to handle these types of events than any other city. But at the end of the day, there's the potential for inconvenience because of the number of folks that are coming.
Chief Boyer, can I ask you, What are your concerns about protection for the Trump Hotel? It says in the press release that you may or may not have to close 12th Street access to the hotel, depending on circumstances. Is that a concern for you?
All of the businesses that are in our inside perimeter are treated exactly the same. We try to work with them prior to any major event to be able to get employees in and out. The best thing that folks can do that are inside the perimeter is try, if at all possible, to get in before 3 a.m. on Saturday morning and anticipate that they will be there till 6 p.m. on Saturday. And in the event they cannot do that because of, for whatever reason, we will try to accommodate access. But we also want to put out there that that access may not be available because of the number of people that come. Yes.
I know you anticipate that this is a peaceful event, and you guys touched on how there are comprehensive public safety response. However, are there any measures against oncomers with weapons or anything that kind of sort of contradicts the cause?
We have not. We don't have any credible information to suggest that there's going to be any counter demonstrations or any influx of weapons to the area. We will have sufficient staffing and folks out there looking for that type of thing. And I don't anticipate that, but we'll be prepared in the event it happens. Yes, ma'am.
Will the usual parking position at the north side of Freedom Plaza be available for parking?
Will the what now?
The north side of Freedom Plaza.
Oh, that's inside the area, so you will see that's inside of 14th Street, so parking restrictions will be in effect in that part of the city. There will be accommodations made for the media. Yep.
Will cars be towed in advance, like they were for the marathon or the
They
recent
will
race?
be. Yes, so starting at 3 a.m., we're going to try and get people to cooperatively move their vehicles. If we can't find them, locate them, and get them to move the vehicles, there will be some towing.
Streets along, say, like East Street or First, are they closed or just interior?
Inside of those streets will be closed. So if you look at the inner perimeter there, you can see First Street actually at about C Street cuts over to 3rd Street, and then it goes up to E Street, and then from E Street it runs down to 14th down to Independence, and then back over to First. That was pretty good. I wasn't even looking at the map.
That was good.
Are there checkpoints, Chief? Like you might see it in an inauguration type thing where you have these kind of fencing and entry points, or is it more?
There will be pedestrian access, so pedestrians will be able to allow to come into the rally.
I guess, will there be but will there be like kind of a security checkpoint like you would see in the inauguration?
There will not be, no.
Sorry, last question. Is there any update on the status for credentials for media or anything?
I don't.
There'll be a media advisory that goes out later today for requested space over the media.
Thank you.
So what he said was a little bit later today, there's going to be instructions that are going to be provided for media, for the organizers, where to go and in reference to any type of passes that you might need.
This question is for the Mayor. Mayor, we're just 4 days away from this very large event. Yet today, this morning, there was another school shooting. When you heard about that, what was your first reaction?
Of course, I am horrified by any shootings that are here in schools, on street corners, and churches. The level of violence in this nation is intolerable to me. And I think that the notion that we say that guns don't kill people is ludicrous. And we have to have sensible gun control in this nation now. I just left a cabinet meeting where we talked to our entire team about how we protect our government buildings and our schools. And after that presentation, I said, well, this is necessary and timely information, but it's also depressing. So unless we want to keep having this conversation, we have to do something about guns. Thank you, everybody.